Thank you, ET, and thank you everybody for being here. Let me first start off with a big congratulations to all the award winners. And as I stand here, I'm reminded of a exact similar collaboration which we have with ET, which is ET 40 under 40. And the only word which came to my mind over the last 10 odd minutes as I was listening to the panel, this seems like ET century after century. So we had a set of individuals who felt very excited about having reached a pinnacle at 40. But here is the inspiration where we have families which have continuously hit century after century and adapted business models for, in most cases, well over 100 years. As we go forward and as we look ahead, few things which come to my mind when I look at the families who've been able to do this for a long period of time. I think the first thing which has really shaped things well is these families have built a business where incremental is exponential. In today's world, everybody is looking for the next new thing, the next moonshot. But more often than not, small steps have eventually led to big steps happening. And every small step which we take every day has led to a huge multiplication effect. All these businesses are here today, largely because they've been able to adapt their business models continuously, decades over decades. The second big thing is alignment of interest. I think all companies today have three stakeholders. We have one stakeholder, which is the investor. The second holder, which is the promoter or the family. Third, we have the employees. And finally, we have clients. And all these four stakeholders are extremely important because at all points of time, they're working for each other, they're working with each other, and at the same point, they're working against each other. Obviously, the investor shareholder would love for the professional to earn the lowest. Professionals would want to maximize their compensation. At the same point, you would want to charge the client the highest, and the client would want to pay the lowest. It's really those companies which are able to find the secret sauce, where they're able to walk hand in hand together and keep all of these four stakeholders together, which is really able to get things moving. The third thing which really comes to my mind is legacy, culture, and a much used word today, hustle. And I can promise you I'd written that word before Vishal mentioned it on stage. But I think it's a real multiplication function of all these three things coming together. But if any of these becomes zero, the end result becomes zero. And for a new entrepreneur who's actually adapting a legacy, it's sometimes much more tougher. Because not only does he have to get the right culture, he has to get a similar culture, he has to change the culture in a way where the legacy doesn't get broken. At the same point, he has his own hustle who has to adapt. And if all these three things can come together, obviously it can be a big multiplicative impact on the final outcome. Lastly, I think corporate India has worked extremely well. We have the privilege of working with 4,000 really high net worth, solid families who've lasted generation over generation. And I think what's really, in a sense, and I think the panel touched upon it in some ways, but there are three dimensions which every family is working for or working on at every point in time. There's obviously the issue of ownership. There's always the issue of control. And there's always the issue of management. And these are three vertices of the triangle which everybody is kind of working through. And I think successful companies have found a way to really segregate these and yet work along with these. And lastly, as a company, we started in 2008. We're just about 18. The good news is 18 is young, and yet it's something which we've just turned. I could just say we could just turn a major. But at the same point of time, we've had a phenomenal opportunity of being able to interact with all of you. And what really gives me a lot of excitement is the power of compounding, something which we've seen from all of you. I think it's fair to say, even if we can compound our business at a modest 14-15%, we pretty much become double over 5 years. 10 years, we become 4 times, and so on and so forth. So all I can say is, just doing a little bit of mental maths. Over the next 32 years, obviously we've got a chance of going nearly 2 to the power 5 times, close to around about 150 times our current size, which hopefully we'll be able to do with all your support and success. One sentence I'll kind of sign off on. 3 qualities in 3 words which come to me when I think of all successful families, and that's something which we've tried to work very hard on. Modesty, simplicity, humility, and client centricity. And these are 3 or 4 words which we really believe in and really live with. I think as businesses become large, it's extremely important for us to remain as modest and humble as we can, because that's something which gets translated to each and every employee. and each and every employee, finally to each and every vendor and each and every client. And if the firm loses its own set of modesty and humility, very soon it kind of gets expressed in all different stakeholders. So with these three things, I think, potentially with some of those 5 or 6 things are really some of the learnings we've had over the last 15 to 18 years. I'm sure we have a long way to go, and we'll continue to learn with all of you in a great partnership, and we've really enjoyed over the last 18 years, and hopefully we'll continue over the next 30 to 40 years. So thank you, ET, and thank you for all of you being here, and thanks a lot. Thank you.